Wow. Oh, here we go. You hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I don't see anybody else. Well, I see other people, but I don't see any board members. Carol, I'm going to make you co-host.
What you didn't hear me say was, okay, great.
No.
Hold on.
Good
Here's
trip.
Jerry.
Yeah, it's, it's a lot. I forget. Being
Close.
a mom is great, but it's takes a lot of energy. Oh,
Hey, Jerry.
I don't see Anna yet, and I don't see Beth.
no.
Do you want me to start letting other people in now?
Yeah, we're going to have to start the public hearing here pretty quick.
Yeah.
You can start that without others.
There's Beth.
Got everybody in?
Everybody there is here.
Okay, we'll get this public hearing started. We only have a few minutes for that. So we'll call this meeting to order. Recording on? Okay. This public hearing is to take comment about a proposed resolution that would increase fees charged for the sale of village water from hydrants or other non-metered sources as follows. The fee for water to be used in the village shall be increased from $10 per thousand to $15 per thousand gallons. And the fee for village water to be used in the town shall be increased from $15 per thousand gallons to $30 per thousand gallons. I have not received any written comment prior to this meeting or this hearing. I open it to anyone that has a comment.
I guess I have a comment. Lynn Souye,
Definitely. Yes.
Town of Canton. I guess I understand why the town of Canton, because I'm in the town and I have village water and sewage. I'm guessing that there's a reason why it's so much more for us. I mean, I've always paid more. I mean, 2.5 probably at least per times what they pay, what's paid in the village. Is this extra that we're paying for non-metered water that also because of this is like payment in lieu of taxes, or what's the deal with why it's so much more for us town people?
Well, the reason that we're looking at bulk water sales is because we've had a tremendous use of bulk water sales by outside groups. Mostly the company that's doing the High Lines. And turns out that our fees for bulk water are half of what other municipalities are charging from Messina all the way down through. So we're finding that these groups are coming to us more than anyone else. So that's why it was recommended that we look at increasing our water fees for bulk water. This is not an increase in anything that water users outside the village pay that's on a meter. You're on a meter.
Correct.
So unless you order bulk water, it wouldn't affect you.
So like filling up a pool, such things like that? That's what you're talking about?
Yes, that
Okay.
would be bulk water purchased.
Okay. I guess another comment that I have on this is, I didn't know that this meeting was happening tonight. Can you tell me where I would have known about that?
This
I
has
didn't know.
been, yes, the public notice has been posted according to the rules that require public notice of meetings of this nature.
Okay, where was it posted?
Sally, it was on, I know it was on the online.
It's
Yeah.
not on your,
Online on the website. It's also
No,
posted at the entryway.
no, it was not, no, it's not on your website. I looked for it today and I didn't see it anywhere under public notice.
It is on the website.
Could you show me where? Because I didn't see it. I actually called you, Sally, today because I didn't even see the agenda. The agenda wasn't on the website. And you said it was on your end, but it wasn't. So you sent it to me. And then like 10 minutes later, I went back on the website and it was there.
What
So,
I told you was on the calendar.
which I went to, yeah.
Mhm.
And the agenda, when I clicked on that, like you walked me through it.
Mhm.
And when I clicked on it, it did not come up the agenda
Mhm.
at all. But yet when I went back after I spoke with you, I did exactly the same thing and it was there. And I just looked on your website under legal notices for this and it's not there. That's not there either about this meeting. So I'm not really sure where it is.
Well, again, it's on the website. It's posted at the front door. Legal notices were sent out to the public.
And it's at the post office, I believe, correct?
Yes, the legal notices are, yes.
Legal notice.
Okay, Well-
Okay,
all right, whatever.
is there any other comment? Okay, there being none, I will close this public hearing. And we will move right into our regular monthly meeting. Again, I have received no comment on anything concerning our meeting on the agenda. There are a couple of changes that I need to address right now. First of all, we'd hoped to introduce our deputy clerk, but she had a family emergency today. So that's not going to happen. Number two is special presentations on the agenda. That was left there in error. That is being removed. And we'll add under new business, G, it's an item from trustee Pinchon, dealing with a grant for music on Main Street. Did I get that correct, Carol? Okay. Okay, so with that being said, first order of business is to approve minutes from the September 15th and 22nd and October 1st and October 7th. Need a motion to approve?
So moved.
Klaus, a second?
Second.
Thanks, Anna. All in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next item is the department head reports. On the top today was Director of Economic Development. She notified me a short time ago that she has a family emergency, so will not be logging in, she doesn't think. Anything from the board about that report?
I guess probably Anna or I could try to field questions if anybody had questions on her report, or we could try to do that in committee reports if that's more appropriate.
If there's any questions, if not, we'll move on. Okay. Tim Nolan. Code enforcement officer.
Yes. First of all, I have to apologize. In submitting my report, I did 20 new building permits, but unfortunately, the way I scanned it, I'm only absent 15 in my report. I can submit them to the trustees at a later date, but I did 20 new permits, total revenue of $1,168.45. A certificate of occupancy for a new building at 6232 County Route 27 duplex. I have had 2 pending complaints with conditions. 1 order of remedy at 61 Governor Street. It's the Quonset hut. The order was to secure the property so it wouldn't be available for anybody to inhabit, like any squatters or of that nature. The property owner informed me he plans to demo that property and has not submitted a demo permit yet, but plans to. And I issued 2 notices at 47 State Street. One for grass exceeding 10 inches and a visibility issue with a large shrub blocking the driveway of property owner on Fair Lane who was having trouble exiting their driveway. And property fire safety, property maintenance certificates were issued, inspected at Head Start and Kappa Gamma, 45 East Main Street. Anybody have any questions? Feel free to comment.
Anything? Okay, thanks, Tim.
You're welcome.
Next up, treasurer. Sally?
Yep. Just letting you know, the board, that Mayor and I met with our insurance advisors for health insurance, and I know you'll be surprised to know that our rates are going up this coming year. Not as, I think that they requested 17%, but they were only approved for 10%. We'll be doing a public or a employee information in December to update everybody on what's happening there. Tax collection, property tax collection is completed. We had $24,311.28 that we are sending to the county. There's a request later on the agenda, I believe, that I'll need you to each come in and sign the certification so I can send those. I have contacted Barclay to get an updated quote for the door openers for the front doors. We received that. And I've asked them to move forward on that. They're just waiting for the parts.
Approval of that expense is in our agenda.
Yes. We're currently collecting water and sewer bills. The last day for collection on those without penalty is October 25th. We had a department head meeting on October 6th. I did want to say thank you to the mayor for holding those. That I think that they're very positive meetings and I enjoy them, and I think it's nice that we can all share ideas openly. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Anything for Sally? Yes, Anna.
Hi, Sally.
Hi.
These health insurance increases, how do they compare to historical increases?
They are a little bit higher this year, and there are some We were given some reasons for that. A lot of that has to do with COVID.
Mhm.
And in testing, COVID testing, let's see if I've got them right here. And I can. The employer vaccine surcharges, the pandemic health insurance benefits. And the COVID waves emerging and that they're planning for 2021 and 22. So those were the main reasons. But it's a little bit higher, probably about 2% higher.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, Sally.
Yeah.
Chief Sandoval.
Good evening, everyone. All I have to add is I want to support what Sally said, that the department head meetings, I think, are very helpful. Really enjoy those. It's a good opportunity for us to all get together and speak other than just passing each other in the hallway. And other than that, I just want to throw out that we're going to be taking part in another drug take back event at Kenny Drugs. We've got an officer that will be there to collect any unused medications from the public. And also we've been taking them here for quite a number of years right here in the office. And I actually found a company who will actually give us one of those kiosks for free. So they're going to be coming at some point to mount that on the floor, I think, right outside my office door. So that's down the road. But other than that, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
So I missed that, Jim. What does that mean? That people could bring, surplus medications and just drop
Yes.
them there?
Yes, and the thought process is it's better to have it, if you're not using it, if you don't need it, rather than just let it build up in your cupboards and your medicine cabinets where kids could get after it or whoever.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
better to bring it in and just, it's an easy, free, anonymous way just to dump your medications. And you can do it here at the PD or at the Kenny Drugs this Saturday from 10 to 2. So
So
we
once,
don't even ask
once
who you
it's,
are.
once it's there, once you have that service to offer,
Right.
presumably we'll do some publicity about that so people know it's there.
I've actually been doing it for, I want to say 3 or 4 years or more here right in the police department. But we've been going to Kenny's. Kenny's always advertises every time there's the organization advertises in conjunction with the DEA. And they're the ones who actually take them from us. We get them, we take them all and we bring them to the sheriff's department. The DEA will pick them up and take them to Plattsburgh and then dispose of everything. So
But so the one that's going to come to be in the PD would be all the time.
all the time. Just like we have another way to kind of do it, but this is a little more secure.
Yeah, I understand. The fact is you've been doing it for however long and I didn't know that. So I do think when the time comes and the new kiosk comes, it would be good to do a little
Absolutely.
information blitz and let people know that's there. Because I think that's a service I know I would appreciate because I look
Right.
at things and think, what the heck am I going to do with that?
Maybe
Okay,
I'll fire
thanks.
off a photograph to Paul. You can put it in North Country Now too.
Great.
Jim, would that be medications, and if people have needles that they need to dispose of too, or not?
We're not allowed to take needles. That's like the
Okay.
one thing we can't take. And we always direct people to the hospitals.
Okay.
As best we can.
Nope. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, anything else for Jim? Thanks, Jim. Golf report, Kevin. How are you? No, you're not unmuted yet. There
Now you
go.
can hear me.
Yep.
Yeah,
Wrap
it's the last
things
day
up?
today. Yep, today's the last day. So, another season.
Good.
Yeah, good. Congratulations.
Yeah. Been a good year. I mean, it's, we're still kind of feeling the effects of the pandemic a little bit, I think. But other than that, it had a lot of member play this year. Members played a lot of golf. In fact, they played a lot of golf today. I think we had over 60 members play golf today.
was a
Great
pretty
day.
solid day.
Yeah, it was beautiful out.
You'll
So-
have some
Well-
play on there after you're closed. Some members will still play there until the first snow flies, I'm sure.
Well, me and Skip been talking about it. I don't have a problem with them out there playing. I wish they'd just stay off the greens. Because last year they made a mess of the greens. The ball marks were all over the place. I don't think it was members so much, but
Okay.
a lot of beer cans, a lot of garbage left out on the golf course. Our members aren't like that. They don't do that. So
Yeah.
I think this year we're gonna just pull everything, pull the cups out, flags, everything, put it all away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything
Other than
else
that,
for Kevin?
Well, thanks, Kevin. Have a good winter. Seems like you
Well, I'll
got
see you-
some good ideas in place for
yep,
moving
I'm gonna
things
work
along.
on
I
a big,
appreciate
a
your
good plan, Owen.
optimism about next year, and we'll be ready to roll.
yep. Well, I'm not going away I'm going to Minnesota to see the granddaughter Sunday for a week. Then I'll be back here in the middle of November. So you'll probably see me popping in and out of the office
Okay,
downtown. All right,
all right, thank you.
Thank
see
you.
ya.
Okay. Next is the assessor, Cindy.
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, well, overall, I was, my report is discussing about the equalization rate. And I did some of my early analysis and I'm coming in at 80% for next year. And this analysis will be gone over with our regional manager, PDC in February, and we'll determine what the final equalization rate is going to be. Last year, they gave me a leeway of 5%, so it dropped to 86, so we were able to keep it at 90, and this year, if it does drop, either it'll be 85 or go at 80, depending upon what the analysis comes in at. Also, let's see. Well, does anyone have any questions for me?
I don't, but I would just like to say, Cindy, one more time that I really appreciate your explanations because it's not necessarily material that's easy for me to understand or to sort of wrap my head around, and you find good ways to make it so that I can. So I appreciate that a lot.
Okay, you're welcome. Like I said, my office is an open door and anybody wants to come up. I have pamphlets I'm willing to share with the public and to explain, to explain this. It's not, like you said, it's complicated, and I want to be there for the public to understand, what's going on. We're not hiding anything. The sales are still coming in. I picked up the sales 2 weeks ago and I came back again and there's still more sales coming in. So we've been busy. And like I said, they've been coming in over and above the assessed value, and we'll see what happens. We'll know by February as far as the equalization rate's gonna be. And so that's it. And the permits, as Tim said, they're coming in as well. And I've been trying to get out there and collect as many as I can, and I get that all that has to be done, and it's still early, so it's good. But as far as pictures are concerned, with the for the collecting for the town, we put almost 1,000 parcels for the collecting, for the data collection, and we got a new camera, and it's got a awesome zoom. It goes 40 times zoom optical, and I'm able to take the pictures from the road and see, look at what I'm looking at. So that's also good, and that's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Cindy? Thank you. Thanks, Cindy.
Okay.
Okay. Next one in my group is the animal control officer. No dog seized. And he's still getting plenty of complaints on cats and wildlife, so. Next one is recreation, and I
Can I
see
just add
Megan.
something first?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just want to let you know that Jim Piper was in a car accident yesterday, just to make you aware of that.
Wow, thank you. Do you know anything? Is he okay?
Is he all right?
He's
I
okay.
mean,
He was in the hospital yesterday,
Oh.
but I think it was going to be a brief stay.
Mhm.
Send our best wishes.
Okay, thank you, Sally. Now, Megan. Recreation.
Hello.
Is water freezing?
Oh, water's freezing. A
Good.
little bit too much water than we want.
Uh-oh.
So yeah, sorry I was late. I just got home from the pavilion. But yeah, report's pretty thorough. Biggest update, we've been working on getting the ice in all week. Monday morning we came in and the chiller was off. We had an alarm that went off, so we had some water. We had to call our mechanics in. They got our chiller back up and running. We didn't lose too much water from our base, but we did have to put a couple inches back on to recover. This morning, oh gosh, we got all the whitewash done. We started doing lines. We've gotten a lot done today. Unfortunately, we are in a losing battle with Mother Nature with our condensation problem. I know Marty Miller has seen it firsthand. I know Mayor Dalton stopped by the other day. He's seen it. So we're waiting to see about the weather. Depending on the drips, we may have to postpone a couple days until it gets frozen. So that way it stops dripping. But yeah, that's the biggest update. We knocked down all of the, in case people don't know, so the condensation drips from the ceiling, lands on the ice, and then we get what we kind of call ice mushrooms. But we have a couple ice mountains. And we knocked all of those flat this morning. And by the time I left today, we had a couple mountains that were 3 foot by 2 foot by about 8 inches high. So,
Wow.
so we've got some bad spots, and until it stops dripping, we can't get our painted lines down, which is our circles. So, but we're trying to work through it. We're down one dehumidifier because it's out of commission. We're trying to get it back up in working order, but we're doing the best we can.
Thanks, Megan. Questions for Megan?
I would just like to say it really has been like whammo, one thing after another. And Megan has kept the Recreation Committee really well apprised, and we appreciate that, sort of. I mean, every time I look at a text and it says Megan, I'm like, oh no, what now? And it's always something. But you know, this is a problem that we have from the, you know, years or decades of deferred maintenance. So Megan has really been getting a handle on what the issues are. I would like to really particularly call out from Megan's report the work on the elevator. That is so key to the use of the pavilion. It allows us people access to the upstairs. It's, you know, ADA compliance that's essential. The song and dance that we got about the elevator from our previous rec director, I just have to, I have to talk about that. We were told it couldn't happen. There was no one in the region or in the area anywhere that could do it. It was going to cost us tens of thousands of dollars. It was impossible. And we heard about that at great length. And practically in a phone call, I'm sure it was a little more than a phone call, but Megan just got it taken care of. She made some calls, found the people to do it, got them in, got it taken care of. So I really, I think it's vitally important to the community, and really a huge kudo to you, Megan, for working that through, especially because we had been told it was humanly impossible. So 3 cheers.
Yeah, the report on the elevator was good. They said we were actually lucky that it was an older model because it was built really well. It was built with metal parts instead of some plastic parts. So we got lucky on that. And we got a couple little tweaks to make, but we passed all of our tests, all of our inspections. So we're good to go.
That's just great news. Thank you.
I even wrote on it.
Yep, he
I
did.
can't wait to ride on it.
Is that what they meant by load test? I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, you can interpret that any way you want.
Yeah,
They
Well-
should never have said that in a public meeting.
There were 2 of us on there though, so.
the load test was pretty interesting to watch because it's rated for 500 pounds. So they get 500 pounds of weights and they load in the elevator and they do all sorts of safety tests and checks. It was quite interesting.
Well, it's a huge sigh of relief, Megan. Really, really a big one.
Good job.
Just quick kudos. Really, in a few weeks, you have made huge improvements and we really appreciate it. And I thank the board too for, putting some funds into place where she could actually make some improvements, to the building too. So thanks everybody for that too.
Okay,
Last but not least, way
Yes,
to
Ann.
put pictures in the report, it's a bonus, right? A few visuals to go along with like, look, here's the part that's a problem. You're like, all right, it works. So thank you.
Well, yes, you're welcome. I know, well, I've learned a lot, especially being with the mechanical company that we brought in. They're awesome. They explain everything. They take pictures of everything that before they fix it and after they fix it, they take pictures for their reports. But I think, not everybody knows mechanical stuff. So the photos come in handy.
Right. Yeah, it sure does.
okay, thank you. Sally, nobody's sitting in the waiting room, are they?
No,
There is no one in the waiting room, no.
Okay, Marty was on a mission this evening to pick up someone from surgery, his wife. He had hoped to log in when he got back. And what we'll wait on is if he does come in, I'll give him a chance to comment on his report if he does log in and gets back.
Mhm.
That's okay with everyone?
Definitely.
Okay, so I need a motion to accept department head reports.
so moved. Carol?
Second,
Second.
Klaus, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we'll move on to committee reports. Committees, who would like to go first? If it's not on the agenda,
I can just start quick with a brief update on the Public Safety Committee. Anna and I have met with both chiefs. We actually got a tour of the fire department and we're able to talk to Bob Crow, about his program, which was great, and EMS. And we talked to Chief Sanama in preparation for a couple of meetings that are in response to the recommendations that we came up with EO 203 with the police reform. A faith leaders meeting has happened, and I'll let Anna talk a little bit about that. But we are also planning tomorrow night to have our inaugural meeting with the Community Engagement Committee as well. So those are a few updates from this end. And Anna, if you wanted to mention something about the faith leaders, I'll hand it off to you.
Yeah, I was, so we met, Chief and I met with a group of faith leaders from the Canton community to discuss one of the recommendations. I don't remember the number off the top of my head right now, but one of the recommendations that came from the report, which was that we would form relationships with faith leaders, from diverse faith groups in the community who would be able to be called upon to accompany officers in the event that they need to make death notifications. And so that was a productive meeting. with several of the leaders present, just simply discussed what, you know, sort of what the procedures and the process would be, like how to set up the list and how contact would be made, and just sort of discussing some of those things. So it was really positive. There are several folks on board. We're just, you know, compiling that information, and then the chief will, you know, implement that. It's not something that happens frequently, I understand from the chief, fortunately. But when it does, this will be a benefit to the community. So is there anything else, Chief, you wanted to say about that?
Oh, I just thought everyone was very positive and very helpful, and it was, this is one of the it felt like one of the easier ones of the recommendations. So, but Anna and Beth and the faith leaders that participated made it very easy. So just want to thank everyone.
Okay.
I could do a quick update on a couple things on community choice aggregation. Louise is working with several nearby towns, Waddington, Potsdam, and Fowler, that all are close to also buying into CCA. And so that'll enable us to do a larger buy with more people, and it'd be a better deal for everybody. And also Louise could do the education effort jointly and be more efficient. So we'll hear from her real soon. Within the month, we'll for sure know what's going to happen with that. Also, Eric Backus from Clarkson will have a proposal for us by next meeting for a study for improvements on Park and Court streets for pedestrian and bike safety. And then we can look at those and decide what and how much we want to do. It'll also include a route to school safety, like State Street and Farmer Street. And so we'll look at that. One other thing, I'm in touch with ChargePoint, the company that provided our chargers, and we could get a couple more chargers, and they're gonna present us with some options. If we want them in the Price Chopper parking lot, there's options where we could own them, the landlord could own them, or ChargePoint could own them, and they're gonna give us what the options are and what it would cost, and then we can figure out what makes sense to do. And I'm hoping by next meeting I'll have that information, and we can decide what we want to proceed with if we do. Also, Complete Streets will have some recommendations by next meeting on some priorities on projects for the spring. And I should have that by next meeting. That's it.
Thanks, Klaus. Anybody else? Yes, Beth.
I just have a quick question. Klaus, as part of your work with ChargePoint, do they give us an idea of what our capacity is for a village our size for number of stations?
I'm
just curious. I'm just curious if, I know we've got a couple, but should we have a lot more?
You mean how many stations would be appropriate for our size village?
Yeah, like ideal for.
That's a good question. That hasn't come up, but I'll ask them about that. That would be good to have a handle on. I'll bring that up with them, and also with NYSERDA. NYSERDA is doing work all over the state. I'll bring that up with them, and
I'm just curious because I'd like to be, have what they think is a solid number for our community.
Good point. One note is to let everybody know we've more than quadrupled our usage at the two chargers on Hodgkin Street. Between April and now, we've more than quadrupled our usage. So it's working out good. We're using them. I think
Do you think that's students, or what do you think that is, Klaus, or just people getting used to knowing they're there?
I think some students, some of the business owners on Main Street, I think, have EVs. I think there's a couple people on Main Street or that live nearby that have EVs that are using them pretty regularly. Like a lot of times I'll drive by and there'll be somebody charging there more than half the time that I drive by there. So they are getting used. At some point, we might want to consider whether we want to keep on providing power for free
Right. On that
And
note,
Klaus
we should just
froze.
do it for free then.
And that's all.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm glad it was him that froze this time and not me.
I wonder if he knows he is.
Oh, he's back. You froze, Klaus.
Oh, okay.
So we lost you at
Um,
whether they're gonna be free or, so we decided since you
Oh.
froze there, we would just go with free.
Okay.
Not really.
We can discuss that at future meetings if we want to charge at some point. It's fairly low usage, so we're not spending a lot of money. But certainly if anybody has an opinion on that, let me know and I'll talk to ChargePoint and we'll set it up for charge, with people can use a credit card. And that's, we can set that up at any point that we desire.
Okay, thank you, Klaus.
Yep.
Any other committees to report at this time?
I don't have anything for recreation because Megan was nailed that. I guess the only thing I would say, I did pull up Lee's report again. Really, there's been a lot going on. I think since our last meeting, we were asked to and made a presentation for the Downtown Revitalization Initiative application, which I can say on Lee's behalf, she did a great job. We did a great job. It was a really good presentation. The PowerPoint was really strong, and the verbal oral presentation, it was Mike and Lee and Lenore. And then they asked questions at the end, which apparently the questions in the past have been pretty perfunctory. And these were very in-depth questions, a lot of them. And there's like allotted 10 minutes for questions, and they definitely went over their 10 minutes. So that seemed very promising and very hopeful. They seemed very interested and asked good questions. So we should be knowing about that fairly soon. The two other things that I would highlight, I guess, are that the CDBG CARES application has not yet gone in. That I think Lee told us last time the deadline for that had been extended. It's rolling now, but Anna and I have really been trying to help encourage them to get that pulled together. They're trying to clear the deck of a lot of other things, but get that application in. And finally, we had our first meeting of the Housing Task Force this week. The EDSC has put together a group to look at sort of synthesize many years worth of housing discussions and roundtables and all, and to come up with a strategic plan. So we have a really nice group, a good representative group of people. Unfortunately, for reasons that we didn't know, it was well noticed and reminded, but only about 4 of the 17 people made it to the first meeting. So we're gonna give that another try and hope to get some good input from them. Anything else, Anna, that you can?
No, that's what I would have covered from that report as well. Yeah, I think that's about it.
The only other thing is quickly, the Communication Technology Committee met this morning. We are talking about best practices for posting department head reports and how to best make those accessible to staff and public if that's appropriate. We're doing some research on that. We're going to set up some website training for the clerk's offices. We're also going to work on a best practices policy for social media. More and more of our departments and people in our employ, in the name of the village or town, are using social media. So we want to be sure that there's some structure and rules and policies around that. Finally, just something for department heads, a reminder, and Sally's going to sort of, I think, try to nudge and help with this, about we had talked about a naming convention, so that when we look for reports in the drive, they don't just say board report. So if you can, when you name your files for our things, say what your recreation or assessor or ED or whatever, and the month. That makes it easier for us when we're looking at a whole lot of them to find the right one. The Communication and Technology Committee had agreed to meet quarterly unless needed more often, and now we're meeting more often, so it was needed. So we'll keep you posted. Anything else, Anna?
Did you mention website security? Did I miss that?
No, because I didn't write it down here.
Oh, so the other thing that we just discussed was following up to ensure that our website security protocols are what they should in fact be. Carol had forwarded us some reports and news and such. So it's one of those areas that you kind of have to keep up with kind of continuously because technology changes so quickly, and the various ways that people can devise to cause trouble also change fairly quickly. So we're just also making sure that we have everything in place that we should.
Yeah, I think the clerks felt Sally has been keeping up with our, the server, the people who do our IT support for us. So we feel as confident as one can feel about those. The website was the place we really haven't asked and checked on. So yeah, thanks for that reminder, Anna. That's all I got, Mike.
Okay, is there anybody else out there?
So, yep. So I have for infrastructure, I was trying to hold off to see if Marty might make it in. Should we hold still, Mike, and wait and see, or should I just talk about?
I don't know where he's at. If there's something you want to cover under infrastructure, go for
it. Okay, all right. So Klaus, that seemed fine to you?
Yeah, go right ahead.
So Klaus and I, as the infrastructure committee, have met with Marty a couple of times in the last month. And really is trying to get a handle on sort of big picture infrastructure priorities and needs for the village. And I wanted to just take a couple of minutes to sort of talk about these from a bird's eye perspective, as it were, just so that the board and other department heads can have this stuff in mind as we are looking at funding opportunities, as we are having discussions about ARPA, as other things come down the pike. Sort of on the at the recommendation of our superintendent, we sort of have four big pies, infrastructure pies, as it were. In terms of ordering them in terms of priority, the number one is water. I don't think that is going to come as a surprise to anyone, but in terms of water, we really need to address the second water source. That's just a immediate priority. Also under the category of water, there are some repairs that need to be done with respect to, our supply from Waterman Hill. And we have our two towers. We need to make some decisions as to whether they are going to be repaired or replaced. So, at what point do we continue to, at what point is the cost of repairing, maybe we should just go ahead and do some replacement? When does that become, tip the scales? And there seems to be evidence that the tower at SUNY Canton should be repaired, that a few $100,000 might do that job, but that we might be wanting to look to replace the Judson tower. So that's something that is going to be coming before us soon. We will be meeting very soon with Aaron Jarvis to get updated figures, which the mayor and Marty had asked for some time ago, so that we can get a real handle on what the cost of that is. The next pie, if you will, has to do with our storm sewers. Marty has explained to me that, to us, that, you know, we need some pretty significant work in some areas of the village with respect to our storm sewers, and that, you know, the first way to approach this is through I don't know how to say that word. It's, you know, vowels in places they shouldn't be. But, you know, essentially getting X-raying our system. And the benefit of doing that is that you then make really informed decisions about what you're doing rather than just addressing small disasters as they happen. So the good news there is that, and this was in our superintendent's report for those of you, but he mentioned the conversation with Eric Backus. And so we're going to be meeting with him to see, you know, what that will take, what that will involve, what the cost points of those are. And then the other two pies in order of prioritization, I think, are sewers, and then of course streets. In terms of sewer, I think that Marty has laid out an approach that really speaks to trying to address them in a systematic fashion each year. So setting aside, some, streets that we will do each year and writing that into the budget. And then in terms of streets, of course, this is the place where you can never, actually accomplish full completion, right? But obviously it is something that we have to make a plan for. That is something he's working on, is a plan that would enable us to sort of work our way through the streets in a timely fashion, and so that we can put that into the budget. So I think all of this is to say that we are going to have some decisions to make in order to become shovel ready on some of these projects, which is what we need to do really quite quickly, like within the next year. We need to get to the point where we have very clear plans for implementing some of these projects. And that's particularly important, not just because we have ARPA, which I know is on the agenda and I won't speak about, but not only do we have these funds to discuss, which have infrastructure potential, but there are some other funding opportunities, especially I think right now. And so we will be working with Lee's office to identify and apply for some of those funds. But it's kind of a puzzle matching game, right? What funding is available, what project should it go to, and in what order? And so I just sort of wanted to have this conversation with the board just to kind of give you the heads up, like this is the big picture. We're going to start to be bringing you various pieces of this in upcoming meetings. And I have no idea what I missed, Klaus, so please.
No, you did real good. That covers it real well. The first thing I think that you reported about Eric Backus, they actually have the equipment and can help us do that. So that's going to save us some money to have their help in doing the storm sewer camera work. So that'll be coming up soon. That'll be one of the early projects. And like I said, the water towers are critical to get gear up what we're doing with the water towers and decide that'll be a fair expenditure, and we'll have to decide what makes sense there. Oh, you covered it real well, Anna. Thanks.
So will Eric use students again?
I
love that.
We'll be working with students and with other instructors, and
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yep. Yeah, he's a big help. He's been nothing but helpful a whole bunch of things.
Great.
While we wait for Mike to jump back on, I will just say, Anna and Klaus, how much I appreciate this. I feel like, much like in recreation, the sort of scattershot Band-Aids over time and reactions to, fixing something because it breaks or buying something because the other one no longer works is just killing us. And I think that having a really thoughtful plan and looking ahead, and as you say, Anna, figuring out what the puzzle is and what the pieces are, and I don't know, sort of like getting the edges first or something, but that is just so helpful. So I'm really glad that you're working with Marty on that. That's just really great.
I had a question, Anna. What's ARPA?
That's the
American Rescue Plan.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I should know better than to use acronyms. My apologies.
Not a problem.
Okay, I can't see everybody, but can you hear me?
Yep.
We can hear you.
Okay, well, that's a start. I don't know what happened. I'm trying to log back into my computer, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, you all done, Anna?
I am.
Is there any other committee reports?
Nope.
Okay. Moving on, communications and information. County legislator isn't with us. I do have one item that just felt this. I wanted to mention that the LED streetlight upgrades are complete as far as National Grid are concerned. I have been around and on most of the streets. I think they're accurate that everything's been converted. I believe that has an impact on one of the committees and some of what we've been trying to accomplish in terms of scoring for.
Will be the clean energy communities. It'll be good points we're real close to being certified as a clean energy community. And that's a big help.
Okay, well, as far as we're concerned, that's complete. So
Yep,
will be
I'll report that to NYSERDA and we'll proceed with that. Yep.
Okay, I don't think we've seen a check yet back from National Grid, but I may be wrong. Ellie's shaking her head, so that's where we're at.
Mike,
Okay, yes.
I would just like to quickly throw out that you and I, along with Paul Mitchell and Jerry, got a letter from Kendall Taylor with some suggestions she had about the fountain and acknowledging Dave Garner's influence there. I think that's really, I just wanted people to know that Kendall had reached out to us, and I think Paul and Reverend Mike are going to probably handle that from the fountain side of it. So, but just acknowledge that she reached out to us.
Thanks, Carol. Okay. We're gonna move on. We'll move on to old business. First item is our zoning revision. And this is really a big item for us. We had a rollout this past month. We had 2 public sessions for people to attend. There didn't seem to be a huge interest. We had a couple of people that made a couple of nice points, but we believe we're at the point where it's time to move forward. And there's 2 resolutions that we will put forward to begin the process to amending our code. Jerry may want to explain this in a little bit further detail. But the process with us approving these resolutions and then allowing the code to move forward to our planning board, the county planning board. And then once they pass judgment, have a public hearing. And then there would be a vote held on that down the road, probably in December. There's probably the timing would be such we would probably have a public hearing at our December meeting, and then vote would follow, depending on what changed or what was people thought needed to be, what's being proposed. I don't know, is there any detail that I there, Jerry?
Looks like we lost Jerry.
No, not here. I thought Michael was
Okay.
not finished speaking.
I-
The resolutions, Monica was instrumental in these resolutions. The first one, the 2-page resolution, pertains to the zoning law itself and the repeal of the separate sign ordinance. Signs will now be part of our zoning code. When we adopt a comprehensive zoning plan, the county planning board gets to weigh in and review and file a report. So this resolution refers the proposed law to the county planning board. It should also be referred to our village planning board. Both planning boards would have 30 days to report back. So our November meeting, I think, is on the 15th of November. Hopefully they would report back in time for that meeting, so we know at that point if there are any revisions or concerns that are being raised on the draft currently before the board. This is going to be subject to SECRA. Comprehensive zoning changes or changes of more than 25 acres are type 1 action. Just before the meeting, we got the environmental assessment form for a type 1 action, but I don't think that was shared with the board. But this resolution contains a provision where we start the ball rolling on seeker and designate ourselves, the village board, as the lead agency to shepherd that through. So the resolution is that you're introducing the zoning law and you are referring it to the village planning board, the county planning board, and designating the village board of trustees as lead agency for SECRA. The second resolution, which is a 1-page resolution, deals with the changes to our subdivision law. And the major change there is going to be that from now on, under the new law, the planning board will be responsible for subdivisions, and the village board of trustees will not have to deal with subdivision requests whenever they are made. And there are some other changes too, but that is the main change in that law.
I think this is very exciting. I would like, I'm happy to make that motion. I'm just looking for something here. You mentioned that this, and I'm not finding it here, Jerry, goes to the village planning board, and it's the
Yes.
county planning office, isn't it? Or is it the county planning board?
Well, I've used both terms interchangeably, and I think when this was drafted, we can change this if you'd like, so that the resolution reads the county planning office. That might be actually more correct, Carol, to be honest with you, so that,
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's the office that needs to review it.
right.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So in the second resolution, the second resolved paragraph, we would just change the word board to office. The very last word of that paragraph would be changed.
Correct.
And in the on the first page, in the middle, there's a middle whereas clause about, 2/3 of the way down, where it says it's to be
Right.
referred to the St. Lawrence County Planning Board. That would be planning office there as well.
Yeah, I think that's more accurate.
I think you're correct.
So do you just need, do we need to do these one at a time?
Yeah, I think,
Yeah, please, separate resolutions.
Okay, I would like to make the first motion that we introduce the local law to amend the village zoning law and sign regulations by repealing chapter 325 and replacing it with proposed local law entitled village zoning law and repealing chapter 264 signs.
thank you,
I'll
Carol.
second that.
Who seconded that?
Me.
Klaus? Okay,
Yep.
thanks. Is there any further discussion on this? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Perfect, we're moving forward. Carol, do you want to do the next one?
Sure, I will make a motion that we introduce a local law to amend the village regulations for subdivision of land by repealing chapter 280 subdivision of land and replacing it with the proposed local law entitled chapter 280 subdivision of land.
I would love to second that one.
Mhm.
Thanks, Beth. Any further
Long overdue.
discussion?
Hallelujah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
right, exactly.
Definitely.
So good.
Yeah,
That should have been changed a long time ago.
Whew.
very true.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Or anyone opposed? Okay, we're moving forward. Thank you, Jerry. I know a lot of work has gone into this.
Yeah, thank you, Jerry.
Sally, I'll send you the revised resolutions tomorrow with the votes, and then you can put that as part of the record. And I'll send I'll make the referral to both county planning board and to Barry for the village planning. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Jerry.
Thanks to Carol and Tim too. I know a lot of work has gone into this.
Yep.
And Mike,
job,
so
all over.
Jerry, the part about us claiming, not claiming, but agreeing to be or saying that we're the lead agency for SECR, that is in that first resolution.
That's in the first resolution, that's right.
Okay,
And I'll
very
send
good.
you the environmental assessment form separately. That'll be part of your public hearing. When you do the final public hearing, you'll consider that as well.
So this sets into motion the reviews that are required. Should we set the date for the public hearing now?
I think I don't know.
Wait till
Jerry?
November?
Well, you can set a public hearing now if you want to. I don't think the November meeting is the time for it because you're
Right.
running too close to the other reviews. I don't anticipate that there'll be major changes, but you never know. So you may want to wait till the November meeting to set the public hearing in December.
Okay,
I think that was the discussion that we were having.
Yeah.
Um,
That's what Monica recommended too. Yep.
waiting till November to set it in December.
Yeah,
Yep.
Okay, fine.
Yep.
Whatever
Okay.
Monica says.
The next item was a DRI update, but I think in many ways Carol did that.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. Yeah.
Is there anything more to add with that? We're in the wait and see mode right now. So I'll move on. The next item, again, is the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA. And we talked a little bit about our approach. I think that in some ways, Anna has already begun how I envision this approach would work. I would like to see each committee that's out there make a brief list of possible uses of the funds and prioritize those lists. The department heads, we'll talk about that at our department head meeting and have them, I know many of them work with other committees. So it may be a duplication, but I just want to make sure we have everything covered. And then, hopefully by next meeting, we'll do a public discussion about how we're going to prioritize what we do with those funds. Does that seem like a reasonable approach to everyone?
Mhm.
You're all on committees that have an interest. Some of
Yep.
you, there may not be, something may not fit into that, but at least we'll have a conversation about it. We'll get some priorities out there for everybody to consider.
Sounds good.
So you want that list for discussion at the November meeting?
I think that's
From each.
appropriate. Does that
Okay.
seem plausible to everybody that's involved in, I mean, you're all involved in committees and
Mhm.
Anna laid out
Right.
some things already on infrastructure. And quite frankly, infrastructure is an easy thing to target, but at the same time, what else is out there?
Yeah, they'll all sort of come under, or not all, but largely may come under infrastructure sort of umbrella.
Yep.
But, you know, certainly there, I will work with Megan to explore what, if there's some things in, I know the air quality and things, we'll just have to see.
Well, that way we'll get it out there, and we can focus on that now that some other things have started to, maybe slide off of our agenda a little bit. Next item is the discussion about the cannabis public hearing. I didn't know if there was anything that this board would like to discuss about that public hearing. We circulated all of the written comment that I received, and the public hearing and what we received when we had that heavily favored keeping the ability to have cannabis sales here in our community. Is there anything else anyone would like to add to that discussion? I just wanted you to have that opportunity tonight.
Mike, I assume since you haven't shared anything that there wasn't anything additional. There were no, you didn't hear anything after.
No, there may have been a phone call or something that I got, but there was nothing earth shattering and nothing that would, change any balance of what we heard in terms of the written communication or the verbal that we received and you all heard.
Yeah. That's been my experience. People I have talked to after that and after they read the reports on that sort of concurred. Yeah, I think that's
Yep,
nothing
same
further
here.
from me.
Okay, any other comment? Okay. Moving forward, the next item is the handicapped access at the municipal building. We have gotten some cost estimates for that work. The town has agreed to pay for half of it. And we will need your approval to pay for the other half. I think it's improvements that's needed that will provide electronic opening or electric opening for the doors to get into the municipal building. There may be some other things that we need to look at as time goes by, but it's one step at a time. And this is a step we can take that's pretty easily obtained. I think the cost estimate was $5,800, and we're splitting that with the town.
Yeah, I'm very pleased that we move forward with this quickly. I appreciate the fact that the town so readily agreed with us of the importance of it. And I would like to make a motion that we set aside half of the $5,814.66 and whatever else is required to make that installation happen.
I would second that.
Second.
Okay, well, Beth gets this one. Any further discussion?
I just think that this is critical, and I think that it is a message to our community members that we really care. And I appreciate, having heard directly from a community member about her concerns, and thank you for moving on it as quickly as we have.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I didn't think there would be. Next item is discuss plastics, and we've had this on our agenda in the past. I believe that the village and the town would like to make this part of their agenda for our joint meeting, if I'm correct.
Yep.
You
Sounds
have
right.
seen the resolution that's being proposed, encouraging restaurants and other establishments to provide beverages and only make plastic straws available on request. So we'll discuss this more in depth, but I wanted to make sure that we talked about it here, just that, and make the point that we're moving forward on this.
Mike, I would just like to do two things. First, say, after our last meeting, we did do the sort of background work and legwork that was requested to find out and talk about enforcing. And it turns out that that restaurants and the inspecting in all of restaurants happens through the state health department, and they are bound by state code. So the fact is that this is not the state is looking in both the Senate and the legislature at plastic, limiting plastics, but hasn't happened yet. So the state health department's not in a position to be doing they can't enforce that for us. So although the person that I spoke with there, whose job that is, said, I hear what you're trying to do. I'm very much supportive and in favor, and we'll keep our eye on this as the state moves through it. That's why we moved to the recommend or urging. So it's a first step. It's a first step to get people ready for what will, I hope, be eventual state legislation and hopefully national, limiting plastic uses. So that's why we went this way. There would not be enforcement. It would just be setting an example. So that's the first thing I wanted to explain. And also Kathy Stein is here, who brought this to us to begin with, and she's able to be at the joint meeting. But also if we have questions for Kathy, or if Kathy, you have anything more to say, I would welcome that.
Yeah, thanks, Carol. Yeah, no, I think this is the way to go, and we've the thing is that the enforcement piece, and the other places in the state that have done this, they have counties that do their own restaurant inspections and that kind of thing. So there's full service counties and partial service counties, and we are a partial service county. So that's, Carol got that piece of information. But the Sustainability Committee has formed a educational subcommittee to start working on an education campaign, not just about the plastic straws and stirrers, but about plastic waste and the problems of plastic, and how to more reuse, recycle, circular economy, as I talked about before. That committee has started to meet and have some good ideas. And so I think this is the way to go forward, to really because it makes a public statement, and then we can have a education campaign in the schools, and we can really do a lot of really interesting outreach, I think, and really educate the public this way. So I urge you to support it.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can I ask,
Go ahead, Anna.
can I ask, is part of that education campaign, then would you be sharing with local businesses, local eateries, that in fact the village has, if in fact the village and the town are to pass this, that we have done so? Like, will that be a piece of it? Sort of, because one of the things I think about this resolution is because of the fact that there's no enforcement piece, and it's just, it is a declaration. So how do we, sort of communicate that in any kind of meaningful way to our business community? And so I guess that's kind of what I'm thinking about.
Well, one suggestion that came up that I think is very interesting, that apparently the planning department, John Tenbush, has talked in the past, in the last, recently, last few years, about having a kind of a, I don't know what to call it, environmentally friendly certification for restaurants and things like that, this, so it was discussed that we might, approach them and say, here is this resolution. This could be part of this, to kind of maybe restart or jumpstart or, move along that idea, so that to encourage, restaurants and other places that serve, food and beverages and whatnot, to say, oh yeah, okay, we'll do this. And this could be one of maybe several things that they could then advertise, that this is how we demonstrate our environmental, consciousness or whatever. So, but that's a good point, but I think that's a very interesting idea. And so I think we would do that, sort of see what, I think that'd be a great idea, little medallion or a little, something you put up in the window, and I think that would be terrific.
Okay,
Very interesting. Thank you.
Before we move on to new business, I see Marty has joined us. Is there anything Marty, in your report, you'd like to highlight that you haven't had a chance to do?
I'm just trying to think. I don't think anything is, big thing is we're trying to finish up on sidewalks. Like I said, there's been an issue on getting concrete. But we've been able to get it from a company out of Briar Hill. So it's moving forward with that. And I met with Anna and Klaus the other day on our infrastructure meeting, and I think we have our list ready to turn into you for what we would like to see.
Anna has filled us in on that.
The big thing is moving forward is getting a meeting together with Aaron and Mr. Backus from Clarkson and looking over some of the things that we feel need to be on the front burner. So.
Yep.
Anybody from the board have anything for Marty? Okay.
Mike, I don't mean to delay this, but I guess I just want to say, Marty, what I said to Anna, which is I really appreciate the infrastructure committees really taking a wide, long look so that we're not just reacting to things and putting Band-Aids on things, but really to have a big picture. And I appreciate your sort of guiding us and leading us and helping us do that.
Well,
It helps. It makes my job easier, that's for sure.
The only unfortunate thing about this committee is that we will be a bearer of bad news. And
Worse than wreck? Sorry, Megan. Sorry.
Well, and at the end of the day, rec, we're all in this together, and I think everybody, starting to see that, infrastructure never goes away. And if, when you stop paying attention to it, you have issues. So it's just something that, always needs to be looking for funding, grants, even on your regular budget, you have to try and stash away what you can because it's the major part of your budget.
Yeah.
We need that water.
Yeah.
Coming and going.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Mark.
thanks for laying the work for a strategic plan. That's great.
Okay, move on. Under new business, in motion to authorize payment of vouchers and transfer of funds.
So moved.
So moved.
Okay, Klaus and Anna, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next item was discuss and take action on bulk and unmetered water rates. Is there any further discussion on that? If we move forward, we can do that by resolution.
Which we have.
I read that at the beginning and
Yeah,
that would be,
I am comfortable with that. I appreciate also the legwork that was done in this, and I would make a motion that we do what the resolution says. I don't have it in front of me to read it.
we'll be increasing the fee for bulk water in the village from $10 to $15 per thousand. And the fee for village water to be used outside the village in the town increased from 15 to 30,000 per thousand, $30 per thousand. And this is bulk water. Second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, next item is bids on furnace at Head Start. Those bids were circulated. There were 2 bids. And one was Right Choice for $5,500 and Grants Plumbing and Heating for $5,000. They do need to have that furnace replaced at Head Start. And that's on us. Need a
Do
motion.
we want to go with grants or?
Yeah, that's the recommendation is grants. I believe Marty is there. I think that was a recommendation.
Yes, I think it was. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so moved.
Carol, thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 I guess the further discussion is hurry if it's a furnace they
Yeah, I
do.
received a call today from them wondering what was going on, and I said, well, it's on our agenda for tonight.
So is there any concern that there would be a delay with parts and stuff? Are we
I
okay?
don't believe so. I think that we're ready to move.
Okay. Just supply chain has been an issue. So thanks.
Okay, the next item is discuss towing. Last year, I think we put towing out to bid. Is there, we wanted to put that on there to see if you wanted to put towing bids back out to bid this winter. The history has been that we receive one bid, but if you would like to rebid that, we can rebid it, or we can go with what was bid last year.
I would like to put it out to bid again. I think that, you know, employment situations have changed for people in this last year. I just think we need to make the opportunity available to others. And if it's only one again, then I won't apologize for taking the extra time. I think it's important to do it.
Okay. just
I
wanted to
support that.
Put it out there for you to know what we're up to.
Yep. Thank you.
Has it
Thank
been
you.
Johnson's in the past?
Sorry?
Johnson's
Well, that's who's been doing it for
years.
Mhm.
Yep.
years.
Got it.
Ever. But I think that's as good a reason as any. I mean, I think they do a great job and we appreciate that. I'm not denigrating their work in any way, but you know, just that because they've been doing it forever, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't give other people a chance.
No, I think it's our due diligence to put it out to bid. I agree.
Yep, for sure.
Okay, next item was discuss Kathy Schrady and the requested use of the village green next year. This one's a little bit different than we normally get, but you know, not considered one that, you know, gets an automatic okay to move forward. They're looking at Green Living Fair on April 23rd. And they just want to make sure that they have a place outdoors if the weather's good, and they have a place indoors if the weather's bad. So I just wanted you to know what's out there and what you'd be approving their use of. It's for their Sustainability Day and Green Living Fair. It's hosted by St. Lawrence University on the 22nd. And looks like the 23rd at the Field House.
It's hosted by St. Lawrence because that rotates around among the 4 colleges every
Yep.
year. So this is St. Lawrence's turn. The Sustainability Committee is involved in that event or those events. So, and I think it's not just a weather location. It's also if it's not possible to be indoors because of ongoing COVID things. I would be very, I appreciate the fact that they've already talked to the Presbyterian Church and they said yes. And I would like to also join them in approval.
Okay.
I love the
Second.
fact that and I just love the fact that it's visible and it's right out in our community, which I think is great. So I support that as well.
Okay, very good. She will be notified that we're supportive of them being there. Next item is to authorize unpaid taxes to St. Lawrence County. This seems like a low number, Sally.
Well, normally this would also include unpaid water and sewer.
Oh, okay.
We don't have that this year.
Yep.
So this is truly just unpaid taxes.
We weren't allowed, as a side note, we were not allowed to move water and sewer onto taxes this year because of COVID and the executive orders that existed at the time. So those that are behind will be getting even there'll be even more moved over to St. Lawrence County in the next year. So I need a motion to do that.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and the last item on our new business, Carol asked for me to add an item for grant for Music on Main. Carol?
Yeah, and I just got a text from Brooke that she's jumping on, she's just getting in the car, but I'm looking for my notes from her. Basically, what this is that NYSCA, the New York State Council on the Arts, has made some grants to a bunch of different places, and one is SLC Arts, the St. Lawrence County Arts Council. And so they have money to support live arts. And I'm gonna hope that Brooke jumps on in just a second, but it's I think it's June of 2021 to June of 2022. So the point is that what they're looking for is this really just the village to be a conduit. The money is there. St. Lawrence County Arts is willing to grant it or, give it to the local businesses who have been doing those live arts, the Music on Main, Flannel Fest, those things. I have a breakdown of the amount, but what really they want is to be the conduit, that the money is there. They will gather all the receipts and everything and just get them to the village for the village to pay out.
So is it, just a
go
quick
ahead.
clarification, is it June 21 to 22 or is it June 22 to 23? So we're in it.
21 to 22. So it will actually cover, so this was the inaugural year of Music on Main, and they did that, I believe, in June and September. And so the businesses themselves incurred those costs, paid for the musicians and paid for the promotion and marketing of that. And what they're proposing is that we, so that there is money for that. And the idea is that, I'm really sorry to be stammering, so I didn't pull this up. So, it would be, the money's there. We would be the people who, it can't go to individuals. It can't go, there's not a merchants association or anything like that right now. So they're asking for us to be the conduit and the repository. I would like, it's on the order of $2,500. So I
So-
would like to.
No
make a
problem.
motion.
Let's do
Lee
it.
Lee has talked to her also about it and has looked at it and is able to help in some ways. So it's really just a matter of us. I think we've done this for a few things, the Remington Festival, things like that, where they just need somebody to. So I would like to say yes to that.
Sally, is that a problem on your end?
No, we've done it a couple other times, Mayor. It's
Okay,
as long as people just need to identify the money that's coming in, so we know what it's for.
And
okay,
they're prepared to do the all the sort of accounting and bookkeeping and all that. They'll take care of that. They know that. There's sort of a little cohort of them that are working on this together.
Mhm.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's great.
Sounds great.
very good then. Thanks, Carol.
Okay.
Next item is public comment. Is there any public comment out there before we move on? Okay, no public comment.
Well,
Uh,
I think that, sorry, I saw somebody unmute. I don't know if. Was that intentional, Mark?
Oh, Mark, okay.
Oh, maybe not.
Okay, there's no public comment. We're gonna move on.
Comment, sir.
Oh,
comment.
Yep, we can barely hear you.
Hey, this is Mark McKenna. I was wanting to know the status of the funding on the ADA adaptive canoe kayak launch. That may
The
be-
status of the funding
Mark,
on the
we really
ADA.
can't hear you at all. Is there anything you can put in the chat?
I didn't hear what Mark said, so.
I think he asked about the status of the funding on the ADA canoe launch.
Well, I think the status, I doubt he's asking about it. He's probably telling about it because he's
Oh.
been, involved in some of the getting and. Say that again, Mark? No. I know Megan has been in touch with Mark, and why don't we'll reconnect with him, and if there's something we need to relay to the whole board, we can do that.
Okay. Okay, we've asked the town board to join us today for an executive session. Oh, Mark just popped up on a chat.
Okay, the question is where do we stand on funding? Funds have begun coming in. I don't have an actual accounting of those. I think that that's something that we can work with you, Megan, and the rec committee can work with you on that, Mark.
Yes, I know I spoke with Mark a couple days ago. I think we're about halfway to our goal from funds collected and also committed funds that we're just waiting on. And then I know I've spoken with Marty about getting the bulkhead prepared this fall so that we were ready to go in the spring.
There was also, what was the next chat?
The question is, why hasn't the village and town asked for a grant from the New York State Office of Parks and Rec? They have a 50-50 match.
I think,
That's an easy answer. The grant office has been up to their eyeballs. I think that that's something maybe Megan and I and the rec committee can look at and see if we can get some of the legwork done on that. I think that the with all of the state and federal funding that's coming through the Economic Development Office, it just hasn't gotten onto their list of to-dos. That would be my honest answer.
okay,
Walsick said he would help. He's welcome to help. That would be lovely. One of the things I think that's important to understand in this case, Mark, is I think we as the municipalities, if you've been sitting in this whole meeting, all the things that are on the staffs that people are doing. And this is everybody's very excited about the sled project, but it was definitely one that was a volunteer driven one and a volunteer initiated one. Came from the community, came from community input. So we encourage you and other people in your sort of cohort that are working on this to keep up this work. Certainly stay on us, but I think we need to rely to some extent also. The village and town can ask for parks and recreation funding, but I think it can be up to the volunteer, the community to seek those out and send us information. I know you have. But we can do that too. But I would say if you have a connection with Walsick, I would encourage you to take full advantage of that.
thanks, Mark.
Like Megan and I will get back with him.
Okay. If there's no other public comment, let's move on. The town board is here to join us for an executive session. They need to open a meeting. And
Okay.
call the
Night.
meeting to order. We went a little bit longer than I thought, but welcome.
Hi, everybody.
Mary Ann, you want to?
So are we closing our other meeting, Mike?
Yeah, we're going to close our other meeting and then go into executive session. I just want Mary Ann to be on the recording that she opened her meeting and then,
Okay, I understand.
so.
Okay, I believe the rest of the town board is here as well. Let me just make sure.
I don't see.
Oh, hello, everybody again, and I'm calling the meeting of the town board to order. It is now 8:05 on October 20th. And so,
Motion.
Mayor, should I just continue with our motion?
Yeah, you do your motion, go into a executive session, then we'll do ours.
Okay, so I need a motion to go into executive session for purposes of acquisition of property.
So moved. Second.
So moved by Bob Washoe, second by Jim Smith. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carried.
Okay, and now I need a motion from the village board to go into executive session for the purpose of purchase of property.
So moved.
So moved.
Carol and Anna, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Opposed? Okay, if you would stop the recording, please.
Start the recording.
We have, okay.
Okay, so the town board has come out of executive session with the village board at 9:08, and I need a motion for the town board to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved by Jim Smith. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Dave Nelson. Town board, all in favor, say aye.
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 Carried. Thank you, village board and mayor and Eric.
Thanks for
Appreciate it,
coming.
and Jerry. So have a good rest of the night.
Have a good night, everyone. Bye, Eric. See you later.
Good night.
Good night.
Record.
Make a motion
I
that
need a
we.
motion to adjourn the meeting. Carol, I think, did it.
I'll second.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all very, very much.
Yep.
Thank you.
Long, but a
you.
lot of good stuff.
Good night.
Have a good night.
See ya.
Safe travels.